Today, arguments were heard in the Supreme Court over a case that many people have said is a case about recycled tires versus religious freedom. No, really what it is the tired old religious persecution of Christianity, and this time taken to the Supreme Court. But it looks like it's not going to work. Even the liberal judges are seeing through this particular case. The case is Trinity Lutheran Church versus Comer. And this is a situation that was an initiative that was launched in Missouri in 2012. They wanted to encourage schools to use recycled tires to produce safer playground surfaces. In other words, they chop up these tires, then you put them out on the playground as a rubber bed so the kids are falling off of the play sets. They're not going to injure themselves. A great thing. Except if you're a Christian school, you can't have it. They're not using the recycled rubber tires to indoctrinate people in a state religion. And what we're seeing here is the First Amendment being reinterpreted as always, instead of freedom of religion, freedom from religion. These children who could benefit from this safety are being discriminated against on the basis of their parents' religious views, or the fact that attached to this playground, the playground has no religious instruction involved in that, is a Christian school. So we have to shut that down. They say Trinity Lutheran Church was denied a state grant to participate in the program. We had, as the questioning was done today, we had liberal justices, Elena Kagan and Stephen Breyer, joined by the conservative justices in questioning the state about what line should be drawn when the church said it planned to use the grant money not for religious activities, but to protect children on the playground. This is a case that has implications for more than 30 states because the religious persecution has gotten so bad in the last 50, 60 years since we discovered a letter that was sent by Thomas Jefferson to some Baptists in Danbury, Connecticut, telling them, don't worry, there is a wall protecting you from me, from the federal government. And it's not, and now that has been turned into a wall around the churches. And that's not, quite frankly, that's not in the Constitution. Interestingly enough, when we look at the separation of church and state, I think it's a very good idea. I'm not arguing that they should be together. But you have to understand that the Constitution, and here's where your dates from history sometimes come in handy. I know we all hate to memorize dates, but they do provide a context for what's going on. And I think they illustrate what the founders understood about establishment. We had most of the states that comprise the original 13 colonies were set up to favor and to establish one particular Christian denomination. Now, the Constitution was ratified in 1789. The Bill of Rights came in 2 years later in 1791. However, there were still established churches in Connecticut until 1818 and in Massachusetts until 1834. So for 27 years later and for 43 years later, they still had situations where when you were talking about establishment, they would require you to either give money to the state church. In this case, in both of these states, it was the Congregational Church. So they would require you to give money to the Congregational Church. Sometimes they would require you to attend that church as well. Sometimes it might be one or the other or both. That was establishment. That's what all these 13 states who had established Christian denominations, they all wanted to make sure that wasn't going to happen at the state level. Of course, Virginia had already said, we don't want to do that. We want to keep Christianity out of the political realm, and we want to do that as well. We don't want to have Christianity. We don't want to have one denomination dominating our laws. We don't want to have Sharia law either. That's one of the major objections I have with the Islamification of the United States. We do not want to mix religion with politics. It destroys both of them. But it looks like they didn't even need to have Gorsuch here. They're talking that it looks like it might be 7-2 based on the question that we saw today, the questioning from the judges. It might be 7-2 in favor of the church, because this is clearly an example of religious persecution.
Alex Jones here with a very important news update to anybody out there that wants to be prepared. But it goes beyond being prepared. Our bodies absolutely must have the good halogen iodine or we will die. And you look at all of the thyroid problems and all the people that don't have energy and that have all sorts of hormone problems. And from my research, and a lot of just mainline research, it leads back to iodine over and over and over again. It's as important as vitamin C. If you don't get iodine, you die. But most people are just deficient, so they're low energy, they're sick. You got to have iodine in your body so that your body can produce the hormones you need. It is the base to so many things. And since I got into iodine 4 years ago, we've helped change the entire paradigm by developing and bringing to the public deep earth crystals from 7 to 12,000 feet of the purest iodine available. Other iodine comes from the ocean or from other byproducts of chemical facilities and is tainted. It's bound. It's not absorbable. I tried it. And I had incredible effects even with dirty iodine because the body needs it. When you don't have iodine, it absorbs the chlorine, the fluoride, and all these other bad halogens. Do yourself and your family a favor and check out the importance of iodine for yourself. I think you're going to be blown away. And whatever you do, support the broadcast and get a bottle of Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2. Also consult your physician because if you've been deficient in it or have other issues, it can have some dramatic effects. As for me and most folks I talk to, it's been a game changer in the positive column, but still consult your physician because iodine is no joke. It's a key building block of the body. And if you haven't had it for a long time and suddenly have it, some folks say they've experienced things like a detoxing effect and things like that. You've got to have vitamin C. You've got to have iodine to live. You got to have water to live. Iodine is key. You must have it, but consult your physician first before you get powerful Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2 at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll free. We can answer your questions, 888-253-3139.